What if I told you that the key to unlocking the pressure in your arteries isn't sitting in an orange plastic bottle in your medicine cabinet? What if I told you that a secret, hidden within a single glass of something you drink right before your head hits the pillow, could drop your blood pressure numbers while you sleep, and do it more consistently than some of the most common medications on the market? I know, it sounds like one of those too good to be true headlines you see in a grocery store tabloid. But I'm not talking about a miracle cure or a secret potion. I'm talking about a brand new wave of clinical research, much of it published in the last few months of 2026, that is proving we have far more control over our nocturnal circulation than we've ever been led to believe. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which bedtime drink is being hailed as a liquid vasodilator, the specific compounds it contains that act like a physical brake for your heart, and how this one simple habit can flush excess tension out of your system in hours. If you've been told that high blood pressure is just an inevitable part of getting older, stick with me. This one is going to change your perspective. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we dig into the real science of longevity and healthy aging without the hype or the scare tactics. Today we are tackling something that genuinely shocked me when I looked at the latest cardiovascular data. High blood pressure affects nearly 1.3 billion people globally. In the United States, about 120 million adults have hypertension, and for those over the age of 65, that number jumps to nearly 75%. Even more startling is the breakdown across different groups. Statistics from the CDC and the American Heart Association show that non-Hispanic Black adults have the highest prevalence of hypertension in the world, at around 56%, compared to 48% for non-Hispanic white adults and 46% for Hispanic adults. These aren't just numbers, they represent millions of people at risk for events that are often preventable. Despite the billions of dollars spent on ACE inhibitors and beta blockers, many people still struggle to get their numbers into the green zone. But what if the missing piece of the puzzle isn't a stronger pill, but a better nighttime protocol? Let's walk through the mechanics of why your blood pressure spikes at night and the specific drink that can help bring it down. To understand why this bedtime drink works, we first have to understand the midnight spike. In a healthy body, blood pressure follows a circadian rhythm. It should be highest in the morning when you wake up and lowest at night. Scientists call this nocturnal dipping. Ideally, your blood pressure should drop by 10 to 20% while you sleep. This gives your heart and your arteries a much-needed rest. However, as we age, many of us become non-dippers. Our pressure stays high all night long, which means our arteries never get a break. This constant pressure leads to microvascular damage, tiny tears in the blood vessels that the body tries to patch up with cholesterol, eventually leading to blockages. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology recently highlighted that nighttime blood pressure is actually a better predictor of future heart problems than daytime readings. This is why targeting the hours between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. is so critical. So, what is this bedtime drink that everyone is starting to talk about? It isn't a complex concoction or an expensive tea. The secret lies in a specific combination of minerals and nitrates that work as vasodilators. Vasodilation is just a fancy word for when your blood vessels relax and widen. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. If the hose is narrow or pinched, the pressure builds up. If you widen the hose, the pressure drops instantly. The drink I'm talking about, and the one showing incredible promise in recent 2026 clinical reviews, is a specific formulation of beetroot juice diluted with a high magnesium mineral water. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "I've heard of beet juice before," stay with me, because the science of when and how you drink it is what makes the difference. Beetroot is naturally packed with dietary nitrates. When you consume these nitrates, your body converts them into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that tells the smooth muscles in your blood vessel walls to relax. A major meta-analysis involving over 50 human trials found that beetroot juice can lower systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 to 10 millimeters within hours of consumption. But here is the problem. Most people drink it in the morning. When you drink it in the morning, the peak effect happens while you are active and upright. If you move that consumption to 60 minutes before bed, You are providing your body with a surge of nitric oxide right as your cardiovascular system is attempting to dip for the night. By pairing this with magnesium-rich water, you add a second layer of protection. Magnesium is nature's calcium channel blocker. It prevents calcium from entering the cells of the heart and blood vessel walls, which allows the vessels to relax. Over 60% of seniors are chronically deficient in magnesium, and this deficiency is a direct driver of nocturnal hypertension. Let's look at the how-to, because the details matter for your safety and your results. You don't want to drink a giant glass of sugary, store-bought juice. That would spike your insulin, which actually causes the body to retain sodium and increase blood pressure. Instead, the research suggests using about 70 ml to 100 ml of concentrated organic beetroot juice mixed with 150 ml of water that contains at least 50 ml of elemental magnesium. This creates a low-sugar, high-impact tonic that bypasses the metabolic stress of high-fructose alternatives while delivering a concentrated dose of vasodilation. In a 2025 study conducted at the University of Exeter, researchers found that this specific nitrate loading protocol significantly improved the flexibility of the arteries in participants over the age of 70. Their vessels behaved like those of people 20 years younger, proving that targeted liquid nutrition can effectively reverse decades of arterial stiffening and restore youthful vascular responsiveness during the critical overnight hours. But why is this so important for seniors specifically? Because as we age, our bodies produce less nitric oxide naturally. By the time you are 60, you likely produce about 50% less nitric oxide than you did when you were 20. This is why our hoses get stiff and our pressure starts to climb. By providing the raw materials, the nitrates and the magnesium, right before the most vulnerable period of the day, sleep, you are giving your body the tools it can no longer manufacture on its own. It's also important to address the nocturia concern. I know many of you are thinking, if I drink something before bed, I'll be up all night using the bathroom. This is a valid concern. The key is the volume. We aren't talking about a 16-ounce smoothie. We are talking about a small 4 to 6-ounce tonate. Additionally, by lowering your blood pressure, you may actually reduce the strain on your kidneys, which can, in some cases, actually help with sleep quality. Now, I want to be very clear about something because your safety is my priority. I am not a doctor. If you are already taking blood pressure medication, you must talk to your physician before adding beetroot juice to your nightly routine. Because this drink is so effective at lowering pressure, it can sometimes work too well in combination with medication, causing your pressure to drop too low, a condition called hypotension. You might feel dizzy or lightheaded when you wake up in the morning. Always start slow and monitor your numbers. This isn't about replacing your doctor's advice. It's about giving your body the nutritional support it needs to function at its best. Beyond the beetroot and magnesium drink, there are 3 other nighttime habits that the latest 2026 research identifies as crucial for lowering blood pressure overnight. The first is temperature. There is a fascinating link between your body's core temperature and your vascular health. When you sleep in a room that is too warm, your heart has to work harder to pump blood to the surface of your skin to cool you down. This keeps your heart rate and your blood pressure elevated. The ideal temperature for nocturnal dipping is between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. I know that sounds chilly, but it is the sweet spot for cardiovascular recovery. Maintaining this cool environment allows your peripheral blood vessels to dilate more efficiently, facilitating a natural drop in systolic pressure. Recent clinical data suggests that even a 2-degree reduction in bedroom temperature can significantly improve the dipping profile in seniors with chronic hypertension. The second habit is sodium management. Most of us know that salt raises blood pressure, but did you know that the timing of your salt intake matters just as much as the amount? A study from the University of Tokyo found that when seniors consumed the majority of their daily sodium at dinner, their non-dipping status worsened significantly. The salt causes the body to hold on to water, increasing blood volume and pressure precisely when it should be dropping. If you are going to have a salty meal, try to have it at lunch. Keep your dinner light on the sodium and heavy on the potassium. Potassium is the antidote to sodium. It helps your kidneys flush out the excess salt. Foods like spinach, avocado, and salmon at dinner are perfect partners for your bedtime drink. The third habit involves your sleeping position. For those with significant hypertension, research suggests that sleeping on your left side can actually improve circulation to the heart and reduce pressure on the vena cava, the largest vein in the body. This small mechanical shift can take a measurable amount of strain off your cardiovascular system while you rest. I want to dive deeper into why the specific pairing of magnesium and nitrates is the real game changer for the 2026 health landscape. When we look at arterial stiffness, what doctors call pulse wave velocity, we see that it isn't just about the pressure of the fluid, it's about the crustiness of the pipes. As we age, our arteries tend to calcify. This is where magnesium becomes your best friend. Magnesium acts as a biological softener for your vascular system. By taking it at night alongside your beetroot nitrates, you are creating a synergistic effect. The nitrates provide the immediate give or expansion of the vessel, while the magnesium helps regulate the electrical signals that tell your heart to keep a steady, calm rhythm. This dual action is why we are seeing such dramatic results in the recent nocturnal recovery trials. We aren't just lowering a number on a cuff, we are literally changing the physical environment of your circulatory system while it's in its repair phase. Furthermore, let's talk about the silent relationship between your blood pressure and your brain health. We often think of heart health and brain health as two separate folders in a filing cabinet, but they are inextricably linked. Chronic high blood pressure at night is one of the leading causes of white matter hyperintensities. These are tiny scars on the brain that show up on MRIs as we age. They are often the result of microbleeds or insufficient oxygen delivery caused by high pressure in the delicate capillaries of the brain. By ensuring your blood pressure dips correctly at night, you aren't just protecting your heart. You are effectively power washing your brain's waste clearance system, known as the glymphatic system. This system only works efficiently when blood pressure is regulated and you are in deep sleep. So that small glass of beetroot and magnesium water is actually a neuroprotective tonic. It's a way to keep your mind sharp by keeping the plumbing of your brain under control. I also want to address a common myth about exercise and blood pressure. Many seniors think that if they walk a mile a day, they've checked the box for their heart health. And while that walk is vital, it doesn't necessarily protect you from the midnight spike. In fact, if you exercise too late in the evening, you might actually be keeping your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, too active when you should be transitioning to the parasympathetic rest and digest state. This is why the timing of your bedtime drink is so precise. It's about signaling to the body that the day's work is done. It's an internal off switch. If you combine your nighttime tonic with a few minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing, you amplify the effect. Deep breathing stimulates the vagus nerve, which further encourages vasodilation and lowers heart rate. Think of it as a multi-layered approach to nighttime safety. Another area of research that is really heating up in 2026 is the impact of blue light on nocturnal blood pressure. We know blue light from phones and TVs ruins sleep, but recent data shows it also inhibits the production of melatonin, which is a powerful antioxidant that helps regulate blood pressure. If your melatonin is low, your nighttime blood pressure dip will be shallow. This is why I suggest drinking your beetroot tonic under warm, dim lighting. It's about creating an environment where your hormones and your nutrition are working together. You are essentially coaching your body back into the natural rhythms that age and modern life have tried to strip away. Finally, I want to mention the cumulative effect. You might not see a 20-point drop the very first night you try this. Biology takes time to recalibrate, but the research shows that by the 2-week mark, the structural changes in how your vessels respond to nitric oxide become more permanent. You are essentially training your arteries to remember how to relax. This is why consistency is the most important ingredient. It's not about doing it once. It's about making it a part of your evening ritual, just like locking your front door. You are locking the door against cardiovascular events. I want to zoom out for a minute and talk about why this shift in thinking is so powerful. For decades, we have been told that high blood pressure is just an inevitable part of aging, a wear and tear issue that can only be managed with chemicals. But the emerging field of circadian medicine is showing us that our bodies are incredibly responsive to the timing of our inputs. By understanding the 24-hour cycle of our heart and kidneys, we can intervene in ways that are natural, affordable, and incredibly effective. We are moving away from a world where we just manage disease and toward a world where we optimize biology. Imagine a future where your evening routine isn't just about brushing your teeth and watching the news. It's a deliberate, science-backed protocol to shield your brain and heart. You drink your nitrate-rich tonic, you set your room to the optimal temperature, and you go to sleep knowing that your arteries are relaxing rather than stiffening. This isn't just about living longer. It's about living better. It's about having the energy to play with your grandkids, the clarity to enjoy your hobbies, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are taking charge of your health. There is an old saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. The same is true for your blood pressure. Even if you have struggled with high numbers for years, your vascular system is remarkably resilient. Arteries that have become stiff can become more flexible again. Inflammation can be cooled. Pressure can be lowered. And it often starts with the smallest, most consistent changes. If there is one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that you have more agency than you've been led to believe. You are not a victim of your genetics or your age. The science of 2026 is giving us the owner's manual for the human body that we never had before. This bedtime drink protocol is just one chapter in that manual, but it is a powerful one. It represents a shift from being a passive patient to being an active participant in your own longevity. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever tried beetroot juice, or have you noticed your blood pressure readings changing at different times of the day? Have you found a nighttime routine that helps you feel more rested and clear-headed in the morning? I read through your stories, and they often inspired the deep dive research for my next videos. We are a community here, and sharing what works for you can help someone else who might be struggling. If this topic helped you understand your heart health a little better, please hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this kind of science-based health information is important, and it helps us reach more seniors who need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, subscribe and click that notification bell. I have more videos coming up on natural ways to boost circulation, the truth about superfoods for the aging brain, and how to navigate the complex world of supplements safely. Take care of yourself, watch your numbers, and remember that every small choice you make, even the one you make right before you turn out the lights, is a vote for your future health. Sleep well, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.